Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the California Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona, 094-1504, Georgia 69178, Illinois 031.005-8339, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington, MLO 237926, Heidi Slade Points, California, DBO 1666881.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done. When you're in need and don't know where to go, pick up the phone and call Mom.
All right, well, welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux, and as always, I've got Heidi Slagle Points with me. How you doing, Heidi?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome, and today we have got our special guest, Joe Pena with Clearmark Title. I have promised everybody that we were going to have a significant amount of weeks coming up with some amazing guests to talk about all of the different pieces of the puzzle in the mortgage and real estate transaction. So we've got Joe with Clearmark Title. We prefer him when we do a refinance. If somebody has their own title company, of course, we're going to help let them use them. But Joe has just been amazing. Your company's fees are just phenomenal in, regards to what I've seen from other title companies. And you guys just do a fantastic job. So we're going to get to Joe and talk about title and what does title mean and what are you paying for and what is it? What does it do? All that good stuff. But how you doing today, Joe? You good?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Debbie. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, of course, of course. So this is Mortgage Mom Radio, and for anybody listening that's never tuned in before, what do? Well, we help you get through the mortgage process, the real estate process, whether you're buying a home, refinancing. We're helping to make sure that you understand what you need to do first, getting pre-approved, where should your credit be, what goes on with your appraisal, physical inspections. We've had just about everybody on to talk about all of those pieces of the puzzle. And we want to hear from people. So we want you guys to put your questions into the feed and, ask us those. We're going to answer them for you right here live. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. We finally got our first Twitch follower last week, so we were super excited about that. Joe, do you do any twitching?
I don't have time to Twitch yet. No, it's Facebook so far.
Well, the only reason I know about Twitch is because I have a son who's a gamer and they all use Twitch. And so I thought, someday.
I'm sure my son knows about it. I've heard of it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be
gamer.
There's going to be someday that there's going to be a gamer that needs to buy a house and they're going to call me. That's the goal. We're going to get there. But please, if you guys have not already, make sure that you guys we are live. Subscribe to the channel. Go to YouTube. Click on that notification button so that you know that when we are live and you can actually hear the show. If you're listening on Saturday morning on Go Country 105, you guys have questions, just make sure you watch us live on Wednesdays. Put those questions into the feed and we'll answer them for you. You want to give us a call, feel free to do that. It's 844-935-3634 and get on my calendar so that you can talk to me one-on-one about anything at all that it is that you've got going on. We're going to do that one-on-one consultation and take our time with you. So, Joe, I've got the $1 million question for you. What is title insurance?
Wow, that's a loaded question. No kidding. Title insurance. Basically, you get title to your car, right? And you pay a monthly premium for your insurance, car insurance, and you want to be insured, so you want to make sure that something may happen in the future that you're insured, you're covered financially for that damage or whatever, what have you. Title insurance, little different. So. Title insurance is a one-time fee that the parties pay at the close of the transaction, and it protects you against matters or issues that may come up before the date of the transaction. Not what's going to happen, in the future. It covers you and protects you, either a lender or a buyer, up until the point that transaction closes. So anything that may come back previous to you owning or being a lender on the property may cause financial issue with you. It can be a potential claim for title, and that's why you want to always have title insurance.
Okay. So there are two different pieces of title insurance, right? There's the owner's title policy, and then there is the lender's title policy. So the biggest
Correct.
question I get, because I'm the one doing loans, is why am I paying for lender's title insurance? What does this do? So can you explain that a little bit, what that piece means? Why are they spending that money?
They are okay because well, most lenders they want title insurance. They very rarely does a unless it's a hard money or private lender or a family member that's loaning money. Do they not want title insurance? And part of that process is ensuring that lender in the position that they're taking on the property. So what we do as a title company is we're running a search of the records and we're disclosing on our preliminary title report, okay, these are the matters that affect your property. These are the loans that need to be cleared or liens that are basically superior to the new lien that's going to be coming on title. And that's basically what is required as part of the refi or purchase money process.
So does title insurance have anything at all to do with protecting the lender in case of default? So let's say somebody doesn't make their
Absolutely.
payment.
Well, absolutely. If they foreclose on the property, that's their title policy. Yeah, they're now the owner of the property, and if there are any defects that were missed or that happen to come up after they acquire it through default or foreclosure, that's why they have a title policy.
Okay. So, but the title insurance is not actually, that's not something that is paying the lender back in case of default for that loan that was on that title. It that has
Not
nothing to do
unless it
with
was
that.
fraud.
Right.
Yeah, unless if it was something that we as a title insurer missed, and for example, fraud, which does happen sometimes. People impersonate or identity theft and get loans on and make away with a lot of money. It's very prevalent in our industry. In those instances, yeah, that they very well may get paid back by the title company as a valid title claim. But if it's just a default for the owner, they're basically insured if they happen to foreclose and take over the property. They have their lender's policy.
Okay. So for everybody that's listening, to make sure that they understand, is that basically title insurance is making sure that there is clear title. So if you buy a brand new home and the seller has somebody come back later that thinks that they still own the home and tries to record a lien against that property, the owner's policy that the owner paid for when you bought the house is going to make sure that that lien gets removed, correct?
Uh, if it is something that was prior to the owner taking title, and it was a matter that was previous to them, yes, they're protected. We as the title insurer will have to defend that owner against any prior claims.
Perfect. So, and for the lender, you guys, we're making sure that any previous liens from other lenders. So let's say you go to refinance or you're purchasing a home and the seller had a loan against the property. You guys are making sure that those older liens are now getting completely cleared, taken off of title, and the only lien that is on title is the new loan.
That's correct. Until we record and close the new loan, anything that's outstanding is going to show open on a preliminary title report, which is our product that we issue to the customer before the final policy gets issued.
Okay.
So a lot of times we're working with escrow and the lender in concert to sort of clear those issues. Sometimes there's a lot of times loans get paid off, but the beneficiary or the bank don't necessarily record the necessary documents to remove them or release them. So those can be issues that we work with, getting documentation and backup to basically remove those items if they have to be without releases or so forth, case by case. But definitely, yeah, that's the whole point, is anything that stays on title that runs with the property from owner to owner, easements, CC&Rs, those things that stay are there. And then we are working to clear the items that are going to be paid off or that would be considered senior lien to the new lien that's coming on.
Okay. No, and that's perfect. And I think that a lot of people get really confused. And that's why I really wanted to focus on this, have you on, because I think it's great for people to understand, why are they paying for this policy?
Yep.
What does this policy do? I think sometimes there's a misconception that the title insurance has something to do with if they do foreclose and don't pay their lien back, that somehow that the bank is going to be protected and get their money back. And that's really more of a of a mortgage insurance, which is different than title insurance
Right.
role, right? And so that is what this show is all about. We're trying to educate borrowers. What is title insurance? What is mortgage insurance? And what do all of those different things do? Some of the things that I've seen come up quite often, and I'm going to let you talk about this one because I think it happens a lot, is when we've got uninsured deeds. So I will have somebody come to me to do a refinance, and they were deeded onto the property. And it happened, because mom passed away and they took ownership of the home and they got deeded on, but it wasn't an insured deed. And then you guys have to jump through some hoops. And sometimes it can frustrate people that they have to provide us with additional information so that you can insure it. So can you talk a little bit, number one, kind of explain what an uninsured deed is, and then what might be some of the things that you'd have to get from the borrower in order to make sure that we can get that title insurance written?
Great question, Debbie. Yeah. So uninsured deeds. Yeah. Basically, anybody can draw up a document, have it notarized, or at least appear to be notarized. And if the county recorder receives that and sees that it looks recordable, they'll record it. They're not going to check. They're not going to call the people up and say, "Are you actually deeding the property to so and so?" Or
Is this
so
real? Yeah.
right. So they get thousands of documents a day to record. So anybody can record a document on a property. So that is the risk we're taking by if we were going to insure over something like that. It's very rare for someone to just give a property away to somebody without
Buying it
monetary.
or, yeah.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times it's gifts between family members. Sometimes it's boyfriend and girlfriend, and they break up, and the boyfriend says, "Here you go, I'm leaving." But I mean, either way, what we do is we have a special affidavit that we include in our report, and it's called an uninsured deed affidavit. And what that essentially does is it validates that deed for us to go ahead and move forward with whoever was taking over the property. We do things like check signatures. We make sure that affidavit is notarized by a separate notary, not the same notary as the uninsured deed. So that just gives us a little comfort. And then there's questions on the affidavit. What the reason I gave the property away was what, I received what for this property, who's living at the it's necessary information for our underwriters to proceed and move forward with insuring.
Oh, so you're telling me that title insurance has underwriters just like mortgage?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes we do have to run certain circumstances by the underwriter. That's correct.
Yeah. Now, I'm happy that you talked about that because again, there is a lot of deeding on, deeding off, and mom bought the property, but it was really for the daughter, and so she deeds the daughter on, and then she deeds off, but none of it is really happening through an actual escrow transaction, and there's no title insurance being purchased when those deeds are transferring hands, and so we do need to do a little bit more research and documentation before you guys can insure that. So I just want to bring that up because it does happen a lot and it does come up quite a bit. And I know that my listeners that are listening to us, somebody has been through that situation before and maybe just didn't understand why we were digging into their family life, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's for the protection of everybody involved. I mean, if it happened, and that is one of the main red flags when fraud is involved with title companies is there's a lot of times an uninsured deed recorded, and a lot of times it's not always the person that owned the property that actually signed it. So that unscrupulous person that might have gave themselves the property can go then get a hard money loan and take off and leave the country or do whatever they want to do. So yeah, it's always a red flag, and various factors come into play when we're dealing with those. How long ago did it record? How recent was it? And so forth. Then, is the property free and clear, or is it encumbered with, stuff like that all basically comes into play when we're dealing with those.
Perfect. So another big thing that we get quite often is clients that have, like when you guys do the statement of information, so escrow reaches out and says, please fill out this form, and then you guys are actually running that. And a lot of clients don't even realize that that's happening in the background. It's kind of like a background check, right? So can you explain what it is that you guys are looking for? Because I've had clients call and say, oh, am I going to am I going to have a problem if I've got some IRS debt? Am I going to have a problem if I've got, this pending litigation? So, obviously you guys need to make sure that when you're delivering the, clear insurance on a clear title for the property, that there's nothing that's going to come back and then now be recorded against this home, right? So can you talk a little bit about the statement of information? What are you guys looking for? How are you getting your information? Because I'm actually curious. I think it's kind of cool to know what you guys are doing in the background.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great question too. So yeah, statement informations are very important in the process. We can't close without it. I mean, that helps. Again, it's another part of protecting the parties involved, making sure who we're dealing with is who we're dealing with. When we do a search and issue our title report, we search kind of two records. Uh, we search an index of the property chain, which is the lot and tract of the property, and then we search an index of the name in that county. So the county indexes documents in those two ways. They'll record something that actually posts to the property chain, and then they'll record liens, judgments, and other types of non-property related liens to the name of the person. But if you happen to own property when those judgments and liens are recorded against your name, they also attach to your property. So anything that we find as a hit, as we call it, against our borrower is going to show up on a title report as an item to clear or pay off at closing or get some sort of clearance on that document before we proceed. Now, it's always important when we have common names like, Hector Garcia.
That's where I was going to go next is what do you do when something comes
Yeah,
up by name and it's somebody that has
because
just
we
that
don't,
very common name?
right. A lot of times we don't have all the borrower's information when we do our reports. So we're not running the name until that SI comes in. So it's always, advisable to everybody, escrow and the lenders, to get the title company the statement of information as soon as possible so that they can clear. Um, I think I lost it. I think I lost audio. So they can clear the name and make sure nothing pops up at the last minute. Because a lot of times it does happen quite often where nobody knows about something that may be recorded, a judgment or an IRS lien, and at the last minute when we're ready to close, we get the SI never provided before, and then something pops up and either delays or kills the deal.
Right. Yeah. Now, can you
So
hear me right now? Because I know you said you thought you lost
one
audio.
headphone went out. I think this one wasn't charged very well because
Okay. All
they
right.
were
I was
separate. I hear you in this
all
one.
right. Perfect. I was worried that you weren't going to be able to hear us at all. So,
No, I hear you.
all right. Awesome. Matt, how are we doing? Do we have any? I haven't asked you once if we have any comments or.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah.
Over on YouTube, Aunt Lori says hi with 4 little wavy emojis.
Love you, Aunt Lori. Thank you for being my
Hi, Aunt
number
Lori.
one supporter.
And and on Facebook, Wayne Smith says hi, Mom.
Oh, Wayne, good to hear you. Hey, man, I know
Wayne.
Wayne is awesome. Wayne's a real estate agent. I don't know if you've ever worked with him, Joe, but Wayne, meet Joe. Joe, meet Wayne. Joe is an amazing title rep. Work with him all the time. He does a fantastic job. So you should reach out to Wayne. He's awesome. He's a real estate agent in Orange County.
Absolutely.
He's actually down in Corona Del Mar, Properties. He's awesome. So anyway, thank you, Wayne. Thank you for saying hi. And for everybody that's out there, guys, that's why we do this. We're trying to bring you education, information, important stuff. I know that the mortgage and the real estate industry is not necessarily a fun topic. It's not an entertaining topic, but it is information that you need to know and you need to understand. And that's why we do this. So we want you guys to give us your questions, put them into the feed, and Matt's going to read them out loud to us, and we're going to make sure that we answer them for you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, and Soleil is here too. Hi, guys.
All right. Hi, Soleil. Nice to see you again. And look at it. You know what? I think he's maybe our number 2 supporter other than Houseboat Billy, who we haven't seen come on yet. And we haven't seen Roughneck come on yet either up on Twitch. So we've got a couple of supporters, Joe. We're working on trying to make that bigger. Everybody out there listening, if it's Saturday morning on Go Country and you guys really like us, please watch us on YouTube Wednesdays at 5. We really need to get some traction on this, man. It's the goal.
No, it's a great public service you're doing here. I think, a lot of people should tune in because this is valuable information.
It really is. And so here's my question to you. If somebody does have a name like Jose Garcia, right? That's a very popular name.
Yeah.
And something comes up when you guys run the SI. How do we prove it's not our Jose Garcia so that we can move forward and get that deal closed?
So the majority of the time, an abstracted judgment, or a federal tax lien or a state tax lien is always going to have some sort of an address for the owner, for the borrower, or the debtor. referenced on the document. Last four digits of the social will always be referenced somewhere on the document. So that's how we sort of compare on the statement of information versus the document, whether or not it's our party. So it's a process of elimination that we do. And, our computers sometimes disclose that information, not always. So a lot of times you have to actually look at the document to see what the information is, as opposed to just looking at our computer. And that's why it's always important to get that statement of information, because people have multiple names, people have maiden names, people have,
I mean,
there
I've
could
got
be,
like four, you know?
if someone got married last month, and they had a judgment on their maiden name, obviously, that's not something we're going to know until we get the statement of information. So.
Right. And then what do you do when you've got, and this happens to me all the time as a lender, where I have a son that's got the same name as dad, and the lien, all of a sudden there's some literally negative credit reporting to their credit report, not even the same social, but the same name, and dad's information is coming up on son's credit, right? And sometimes the other way around. I'm not going to always blame dad, but sometimes the other way around. But how do you guys, when you've got the address and you've got the name, what if it is dad? I mean, is there a way to document that doesn't belong to our borrower?
Well, again, that's and going back to the fraud. I mean, that a lot of times that has happened where somebody has the same name as the parent, and they'll sign a document as impersonate the parent, and then do some fraudulent activity. But again, that goes back to the socials, and that goes back to date of birth is on the statement of information, stuff like that. I mean, if the guy bought the property in 1983 and the son's date of birth was 1980,
Right.
obviously we know the dad or whatever, we basically we look at all that information, and just through a process of elimination, we make our determinations. And if we need more information, then we'll go back to the escrow or go back to the lender and let them know here's what we need to verify things.
Perfect. Now,
Yeah.
one thing again that I do see come up pretty frequently are child support debts, right? And it will be things that were against the borrower, but it's something that's been cleared and paid off. So what would we be asking that borrower to provide us? Like, let's say something does come up stating that they've got this child support lien, and they say, no, I've paid it, I don't owe anything. What are we going to get from that borrower to show you that has been taken care of?
Well, a lot of times the borrower can provide payment history, but what we, as a title insurer, what we want to get is an actual release from the county. A lot of times it's county child support services, and that's part of what escrow's function is. They've got an authorization on behalf of the borrower to reach out to these creditors and these institutions and request demands or releases to clear them. So a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, we'll have escrow reach out and get a release from the county, and then we record the release, and the issue is no longer. Then they can, it won't ever be an issue that pops up in the future. Sometimes they'll give us what's called a matured installment. That just tells us that the lien is still outstanding, but they're paid current on their payments, and that's also a document that gets recorded. So it's sort of takes the place of a release, but it shows that once we insured the property at that time, the borrower was current and they weren't behind, and leaving us open to a potential claim if we didn't handle that. So it's just like any other judgment or lien, it attaches to the property and needs to be cleared in some fashion.
Right. No, that's perfect. And so, and I'm asking you questions that I know the answers to, but you are our expert, and I want people to hear it because you are a different industry, right? We're all together in real estate and mortgage, and we're all doing this, but we've all got different functions, and we're all a different piece of the puzzle. And we've talked many of our episodes about how many different people are actually going into your transaction when you're buying your first house or when you're refinancing your home. And, they don't even, just in the side of my mortgage company, you start with your loan officer, and then you've got your loan officer assistant, and then you've got your processor, and then you've got your underwriter, and then your doctorar and your funder, and then you've got QC that's doing the quality audit at the end. And then on top of that, we've got escrow, which you mentioned. And I'm actually going to have my escrow officer, Jennifer, on next week. So she's going to talk about her function and why do you pay for escrow. And then we've got title, right? We've got you going on in the background also doing your function. And then if they're buying a house, you've got your real estate agent and you've got your physical inspector and you've got your termite company. And there's so many pieces and it can be very, very overwhelming. And so we're trying to just bring this information to kind of, the more you understand, a little bit easier that transaction might be. Somebody that's listening to the show today, they start the transaction and they get a phone call a week before their escrow is supposed to close, and it says, hey, title found that you've got a lien with the county for child support. We need to get something showing that you don't owe that. Maybe they just won't be as shocked. They know what they got to do. They can jump into action. I love what you're saying. Get those statement of information documents filled out up front. Get them over to you guys early in the transaction. That will help to, keep a little bit of that last minute fire drill.
Yeah, 'cause we don't run the name until that comes in. So, unless we see something that's absolutely a hit and without the statement of information needed, if it's a very uncommon name and only 2 or 3 records pop up and the address matches and that this is our guy, you're going to see that up front on the title report. But yeah, a lot of times, the name's very common, and getting the statement of information up front, just it relieves a lot of stress on everybody, because like I said, those things do happen at the last minute.
Yep. Very good. And I love it. No. And thank you so much. Honestly, I know I kind of put you on the spot. You're like, I'm really not like a person that's going to go like on TV or, come into the studio. Okay. This isn't my thing.
This is nice. This is nice.
Yeah. It's great. And I promised you I'd make it easy. I'd ask you questions.
I've had lights and cameras in front of me before, and that's overwhelming, but this is easy.
Okay, good. Hey, Matt, how are we doing? Do we have any questions, any comments? How are we doing right now?
A couple comments in from YouTube. Michael Ann, or maybe Michael and Ann, are saying I'm watching, and Erica says hello.
All right. Well, Michael Ann would be new, or Michelin, or I don't know how you would say it, but you're new, and thank you so much for watching. And Erica Joy, thank you so much for watching as well. You get on here all the time for us, and we appreciate that. We've got a couple of very loyal followers, and they all seem to be my family. But we love it. They do it. We love it. All right. So anyway, Joe, thank you so much. Is there anything at all that I didn't ask you, when you know that it's the consumer that's listening? It's those buyers. It's the borrowers that are refinancing. Is there anything that you can think of that I didn't bring up that you feel is important, something that they should know, something when deciding what title insurance company that they want to choose? At the end of the day, even though when you're in a purchase, a lot of times your real estate agent is actually the one that's kind of directing where the title's going to go, which title insurance company is going to choose it, and the lender as well. Somebody calls me, and unless they ask me for a specific company, I'm moving them towards you at Clearmark. So is there anything that you would say, that it's important for somebody to know? Why should they use Clearmark? Anything I didn't bring up that maybe you feel we missed and was very important?
Well, yeah. Well, let's start with why they should use Clearmark. I mean, we've got an amazing staff here. Everyone's had 20 plus years of experience in the industry, and, it just got a real rock star group here, dream team of title professionals. So in that respects, I mean, you're in great hands with Clearmark Title. You can check us out at www.clearmarktitle.com and reach out to any one of us. All of our contact information is on there. But all I can really say to people who are watching is if you're contemplating a refinance and you know of things that could be a potential issue, such as judgments or liens against you, just
SBA loans.
Yeah,
SBA
just let
loans. Tell us about them.
Funky that you think may, delay the transaction. Just let your lender know, and that way, we can address it up front. Sometimes, a lot of times divorces are an issue, because we have to determine, was this property an asset in the divorce? Who did the court award the property to? If the person on title is married and their SI statement of information says they're now divorced, we see an issue with that. So it's just, if there's anything that, it's just not, if something is going on litigation wise or something like that, where the transaction might get delayed, just to let the lender know, and that there potentially may be something coming up, and then that way there's no surprises for everybody involved.
I love that. And
Absolutely.
I honestly, I haven't really brought it up in quite a few shows, but really one of the things that we talk about often is I'm not the underwriter. I'm not the decision maker. I'm the person that's fighting for you to get your loan. I'm the person that is trying to fit your circle into the square, right? So the more that people can tell me, the easier that it is for me to do my job or to work on those items up front and make sure that we're getting all of that done and prepared in advance, that it can then go smoothly moving forward. So I think that was fantastic advice. The more we know, that the easier it is for us to help. And
Yeah.
maybe even there's some things that we can help them get cleared up that will stop haunting them. I've seen before where I've had to call somebody and say this liens on title, and they're like, you know, that's always there every time it comes up. Maybe we can help them once and for all get that thing off their back. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. We we're all escrow, the lender, title, we're all working together to make it as smooth as possible transaction. So,
Yeah.
it's sometimes it can be a little stressful, but we always somehow we make it and we end up closing these deals fairly smoothly. So
Yeah, you guys have actually saved my butt quite a few times. We've actually had some deals that, were with some other title companies and they said no, and we were able to go to you guys and explain what the situation was. And, you kind of walked us through what do we do to fix it, and we got the deals closed. So, for those real estate agents that are out there looking for a title company, I cannot tell you enough how much Clearmark has actually helped me in my business. And, you guys have been fantastic. And for my borrowers, I mean, you guys have excellent coverage and insurance, and there is absolutely nothing that is low rate about you guys other than your actual fees. I have not found anybody that can even beat your fees refinance wise. Obviously I don't really get to pick on a purchase transaction who they're using. It just comes in on the contract when I get it. But you guys have been phenomenal, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate that you came on today and took the time to do this with me, and you're helping to educate and bring this information to my listeners. So I can't thank you enough.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Debbie. And, likewise, we love working with you too, and look forward to continued relationship business wise in the future. And let's just keep on closing these deals and
Keep on
making things
hustling.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely. Well, you have a fantastic afternoon. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
really, for joining us. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, hopefully maybe Heidi, I'm thinking that maybe with the three of us, because we started with Heidi on the show and then we lost Heidi because we couldn't see her face and her picture was gone completely. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe it's just like a two thing. Maybe the system can only handle the bandwidth of maybe two in the room instead of three. So we'll take a commercial break. We'll get Heidi back in. We'll do a little bit of catching up with Mom. If you want to check it out, watch us on Facebook or YouTube. You can watch us do our little banter, and then basically the show's over. But I appreciate it so much. Really, you've been great.
Thank you so much.
All
Appreciate
right.
it, Debbie.
All right, Joe.
Have a great evening.
All
Thank
right, you too. Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
She's a mortgage mom.
Mortgage Mom here. Did you know that property values are up and interest rates are down? Do you have some debt that you'd like to get paid off? Give me a call. It's 844-935-3634.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call Mom.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, California NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Texas and Tennessee, 184373, Arizona 0941504, and Nevada 57237.
All right. Well, welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux, and that was an awesome, awesome interview with Joe Pena with Clearmark Title. We obviously, we're doing it live. It's streaming. It's COVID. It's Heidi moving to Mesa. It's everything about computers. So we couldn't get Heidi in there. Heidi, I was hoping you could get back on, but we just absolutely, like, your picture was gone, and your quality, even when you were there, you were freezing, and I think it's just maybe bandwidth with just too many people in the room at the same time. But I was hoping that you could maybe ask some questions, and that kind of stinks, but that's all right. We have you back now.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm sorry I couldn't stay. I was trying.
I know.
But
I know.
just wasn't loving me today.
No, it wasn't. But you look totally clear now. Your sound is awesome. So I'm guessing really that maybe it's just trying to actually get the three different, people in the same room at the same time. I just think it's probably too much stuff. So
Yeah. Please don't jinx it.
I won't. So for everybody listening, this is Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux. As always, I've got Heidi Slagle Points here with me. You guys just heard from Joe Pena with Clearmark Title. If you guys have title questions, you need to know anything at all, you're wondering about liens, you're wondering about title, you want to know what insurance is all about, you give us a call, you get on the calendar, we're going to talk to you. The phone number is 844-935-3634. If you're listening on Saturday morning on Go Country, you guys got to check us out, man. We're live Wednesdays, live at 5 on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And you guys can put all your questions into the feed, get those questions out to us, and we're going to answer them for you. And you can see us do it. You can see the real people. I'm not as pretty as I was the last couple of weeks. I didn't do my hair this week. I did get some makeup on, so that was good. But that's about as far as I could get today. We've been a little busy this week.
We've been a lot busy this week. I did manage to shower, and
Yeah.
I was going to straighten my hair, but showering's as far as I got. So, at least no one can smell me on YouTube.
Yep.
So that's good.
Yep.
Um,
That's okay. That's all right. I feel about the same way. And you know what is I don't know about Arizona. You're a little farther away from me now, but here it is starting to it's still dark when I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older, but for a reason, even without the clocks changing, I have been having a really hard time getting up in the morning, where I'm usually like Johnny on the spot, 6 o'clock, 6:30. My body's just like, you're up, you're out, you're gone, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden it's like 7:30 and I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, and then I feel like I'm just chasing the rest of the day because I got up so late, but it's because it's so dark when I think it's because it's so dark when we're waking up in the morning.
right.
Is it like that there? Are you guys on a different part of the hemisphere? Like, you feeling it the same way? I mean,
well, look,
really
here's the
soon,
reality.
we're going to be on different time zones.
We are going to be on different time zones, so that's going to be weird for us. But here's my reality. I don't get up early, right? So I've never been the early riser, so it's always hard for me to get up. But the funny thing is, I've been waking up easier. So maybe it's a little different. I don't know. But lately I've been waking up easier, but I am exhausted by 8 o'clock. And I used to stay up really late, and then I'd have a hard time getting up. Now I'm like, it's 8:30. I'm dying.
It's called getting old.
Yes, I think so.
That's what it's all about. It's called getting old. So clocks go back right after Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving, right after Halloween, right? It's like
Halloween
first.
Halloween
It's
night.
Halloween night. It's always on
Is
a
it
Saturday,
Halloween
and
night?
Halloween's on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, because I knew it was like November. I was thinking it was the first weekend of November, but Halloween for the first year ever is
That's
on a
why
Saturday.
everybody's mad.
And
Right.
everybody's angry. Yeah. So I know that we move those clocks. California, we move back an hour, right? So
Right.
when we think that it is 7 o'clock, it's really 6 o'clock. For you, you stay,
Right.
right? So
Yep.
for me, it's 6 o'clock, but for you, it's 7 o'clock.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that how it goes?
Yep.
So that means that when I'm still working at 6 p.m., it's 5 p.m. for you, right? No, it's the other way.
No, it's the other way.
So when it's 5 p.m. for me, it's already 6 o'clock.
It's already
for her.
6 o'clock for me.
So how am I going to keep you working until 7 at night? How are we going to make
Oh.
this
Start
time
at 10.
change? We're going to have to figure this out. I mean,
We are.
we're live right now and we're talking about it. I mean, it's the first
Right?
time I've thought about it. I'm like, how am I going to get this to work? Now, not only do we have you in Arizona, and everybody that has ever worked with our team has met or talked with Tiffany at some point in time.
Right.
And Tiffany is there in Arizona with you. She's actually in the background right now. Nobody can see her. I think she needs to
is.
pop her head in and
All right.
wave to all of our listeners, because she is a huge part of our team and our process and why our loans go smoothly. So
Absolutely.
you've got to
Tiffany,
twist her
come-
arm a little bit. All she's got to do is smile and wave.
Just smile and wave.
That's Tiffany, everybody.
This is Tiffany.
That is Tiffany Thomas. She is our processor, and you guys have all, at some point in time, if you have worked with our team, met her, talked with her, or sent her documents, sent her information. But, you guys are both over there now, so I'm trying to figure out, I might have to get on your schedule, but then how do my clients in California get on that schedule? We're going to have to work this out. It's going to be a little interesting.
It is. It is. We're definitely going to have to strategize on how this works.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, for you, I'll be up earlier for your time.
Which will be fantastic because I'm
Which will be
always
fantastic.
up early. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. We'll figure this out. We'll make it work. It was just something, we didn't do our catching up with mom last week because we had John on. We didn't do catching up with mom, I don't think the week before. I feel like we had somebody else on.
Oh,
we did Danielle. We had Danielle, our real estate agent on. So this is kind of our first catching up with mom. So we're kind of doing it a little bit backwards. Yeah.
That's okay.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So we've got, Erica says, time change is silly. And then she also says, hi, Tiffany. So you can let her know she's already got fans. And then we did get from my Aunt Pam, again, another strong family member follower.
Yes.
We got a hi from Aunt Pam. And then it looks like we also got time change is a bit, B-I-T. And we're going to leave it at that because I can't go on Go Country 105 and say dirty words. But I think we all knew what she meant. But who was that? I can't read it from here. I've got
That one is J Evolution from Twitch.
No.
Yep.
Whoa.
We got our second Twitch follower. No way.
This is catching on.
It is. We're doing it, man. We're doing it. We are making our way through. I swear to God, we're going to have 3 next week. I mean, this is huge. All right. So for everybody listening, what do? We haven't said it in a while. Me and Heidi are just catching up here. You guys totally missed out on Joe Pena. If you're just tuning in right now, Joe is with Clearmark Title. He is awesome. He gave us all kinds of information. Why do you pay? Why do you pay? Why do you buy title insurance? There's lender's title, there's owner's title. If you're an owner, you're selling your house, you're paying an owner's title policy for your buyer. If you're a buyer, you're paying a lender's title policy for when you're purchasing as part of your closing costs. If you are refinancing, you are paying a lender's title insurance for your refinance. Why do you do all of that? We'll go back and listen to the podcast. Tune in. Go ahead. Check us out on YouTube. You guys can watch the whole show from the beginning. He gave us some great information, though, really important stuff. You weren't on with us because we couldn't get all 3 of us in the room. One of the things that he brought up that was awesome, which I thought was great advice, was do the statement of information early.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
then the other thing that I love is, J Evolution just said you have 4 followers. No way. Love it. Whoever that 4th one is needs to make a comment right now. We need to see it. We've got Riley in the room with us right now, and my girlfriend Heather. They're here watching us do the show, and Riley's a big Twitcher. That's not you in there, right? Making comments and just making us feel good. I love it. It wasn't him, though. He kind of gave me a smile. Maybe it was. I don't know. We'll see. But it doesn't matter. We had somebody else watch. I don't care if he's 12. But
He's gonna need a house one day.
I'm telling you, I'm doing a loan for a gamer. That
Right.
is my goal. That is my 2021 goal. 2020 was
There
to
you
get a follower on Twitch. We've done it. 2021 is that I'm going to do a loan for a gamer. That is 2021. But talking about getting that statement of information done early because of those liens and things that can come up, that was really good advice. And what he did say that I think is great, we've mentioned it a lot, but we haven't really talked about it very much recently, was if you know of anything at all that might be concerning, you might be in the middle of a litigation or you might have some child support debt you haven't been paying. But if you know of something, you have an SBA loan, bring it to our attention up front in advance. Talk to us. Let's try to work through those title issues before we even start the refinance. That way we're not wasting money on appraisals for a loan that can't close. We're not spending time with making our underwriter underwrite, another loan, which we all heard about John last week. So go back to the podcast, go back to YouTube, watch our underwriter, John. He was awesome, but he talked all about turn times and how many loans that he's got on his plate and, how busy that we are right now. Why would we give him one more to do on something that's not going to close if we can't get it fixed?
Oh, absolutely. And how many times have we had someone say, oh yeah, I knew I had that lien. I didn't realize I'd have to pay that off.
Right.
Well,
I didn't know that was going to be a problem. Yeah.
I didn't know that would be a problem. Well, I don't have the money to do that, and there's not enough equity in the house to pull out the cash, right?
Right.
So absolutely, I think that's fantastic advice. Let's talk about it up front. And I know Debbie always asks this question. Do you have any other debts we should know about? Well, a lien on your property is another debt we should know about.
Right. Yeah. It's not, when I'm asking what kind of debts do you have, a lot of people in their mind, they're just immediately going to things that would be on their credit report, a car payment. And that even gets kind of misconstrued sometimes for clients, right? A lot of them
Yes.
don't believe that a student loan is debt because they don't make a payment.
Right.
They don't believe that their overdraft protection account connected to their checking at their bank is a debt. Well, they make a payment on it because they have a balance on it, right?
Right.
So, there's a lot of things that they don't necessarily realize is a debt that we are going to see that we have to account for in the debt ratios. And then we get into the loan to value, like you mentioned. And if you've got a lien against title that's a debt, you may not necessarily be making a payment on it, but we've got to get it paid off, whether you bring out the money or we pull out the cash to get it paid. But if we don't have the loan to value, we can't do that. But
Right.
now you've paid for an appraisal. You've submitted all your paperwork. You've gotten excited that you're going to get this loan done. You're going to save $500-$600 a month by doing the refinance, and now it's all done. It's all gone.
Right.
Right. So there's other things, though, and since we're talking about credit reports, and in a couple of weeks we're going to have to actually have a credit repair guy on. He's really great. We've always had our credit cowboy on in the past, and George Hartman will be on with us in a couple of weeks. And George has actually worked with me even well before Steve did. Kind of depends on the situation who I refer people to. They're both very knowledgeable and they're great. So I'm going to have George come on to talk about credit again because I think it's something we haven't touched on in quite some time, and that is a factor, a major factor in what kind of interest rate do you get. Can we do a loan for you today? What should you do to raise that credit score? So we'll have him come on in a couple of weeks from now. We've got Jen from Escrow coming on next week. And the week after that, I'm still trying to get an appraiser. They are so busy right now that I'm having a hard time getting somebody to commit even to just 45 minutes. But I'm working on it and I will make it happen. Watch me.
Oh, I have no doubt you've made everyone happen so far that we promised.
Yep, we've got an insurance agent that'll come on. There's been a lot of fires. Insurance policies are going up. They're getting more expensive. It's getting harder to get the property insured. So we're going to have our insurance guy come on as well. So we've got some really great interviews planned all the way through the end of the year. If you guys are listening Saturday morning on Go Country, make sure that you're checking out our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, subscribe, look for Mortgage Mom Radio, click that subscribe button, click on that notification button so you know when we go live, and watch the shows on Wednesdays and listen to the experts and ask your questions. Take advantage. That's what this is all about. But some of the things that could be considered a debt that people forget to tell us, so that's where I was going before I started my rant, child support, alimony.
Yep.
There could be a judgment that you're making a payment on. That's still a payment, and we're going to probably see that. An IRS debt, we're going to see it. If you're making a payment, it might not be a lien, might not be on your credit report, but we're going to see it in the bank statements. Things that you don't have to tell me, which we get a lot. I get a lot of people that are trying to be so honest. They want to give me everything, and I love it. I love it. I don't need to know what your utility bills are. I don't need to know how much your car insurance costs you, because those are things that are optional, right? Although, yes, if you have a car payment, you need to have car insurance. It is optional to own a car, have a car payment, and have car insurance for the car, right? So
Right.
Those are optional things. I don't need to know about your utilities. We are factoring your debt ratio at 45 or 50 or 56, depending on your loan program. We're assuming that there are those costs of living, those utilities, and but a lot of them will be, oh, my internet is this, and then my gas is that. I'm like, oh, no, we're good. We good. You don't have to bring that up.
No, I'm going to throw in a couple more people forget.
Okay, yeah.
Timeshares.
Yes.
If you have a timeshare payment and or management fees for that timeshare that maybe you've paid off,
An
but you have
annual
management
fee,
fees.
uh-huh.
Annual fees, management fees, HOA fees, whatever you want to call them, those are a debt. The other thing, solar.
Yes.
If you have a solar lease or a solar ownership, but you're paying that solar company monthly, that is also a debt. It also possibly is a lien on your property that we either subordinate, we remove it, put it back on, or you have a hero loan that has to be paid off. So these are very common items that are left out in conversations that we have that potentially, if we don't know about them, we've got a tight ratio already, could change your deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and a lot of people, they don't necessarily know what a hero loan is.
True?
So do you want to explain it?
Sure. It's an energy efficiency loan that is given to you, and it actually, you won't, most of the time, don't make any payments to it, but it affects your property tax rate. So a lot of people forget about it because you're not making any payments on it.
Right.
But you are through your property taxes.
Yes. So anybody out there that is listening at all, if you have taken a hero loan, you have a hero loan right now, your property taxes are god awfully expensive.
Yes.
Interest rates are low. We can refinance that loan. We don't have to call it a cash out. It is a rate and term refinance because they were home improvements. We can get that debt paid off and out of your property taxes. And we can, in many cases, save you oodles of money. And when it's not considered cash out, we can go to higher debt ratio or higher loan to value. It's not just stuck at 80. We can go to 90, 95. That's totally fine. We are going to save you a buttload if you have a hero loan right now. Get it paid off. So I'm happy that you brought that up. We've never talked about hero loans.
No.
They're a great way if somebody doesn't have the money to fix the roof, do the windows, put in the new AC unit, put on the solar panels. It's a great loan if they don't have the means necessary to get the money to do it. And it really is something that's necessary. But at the same time, it is very expensive, very expensive. So let's get it out of your property taxes. Let's get it amortized over 30 years at a really low interest rate. And let's get your monthly payment, your cash flow better. So that is a good one. And we never know where we're going with these shows. I had no idea when I sat down to talk to Joe about Title that we were going to get into Hero and let's pay off Hero loans.
Right. No, but you know what? I feel like it's one of the most common things left out when we talk about your debts.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we get Title and we find out that there's a hero loan.
Yep.
Or solar or, one of those items. And then we a lot of times have to restructure what we're doing.
Right.
So it is just something very important. And hero loans are very costly.
Yep.
Monthly.
Yep. Absolutely. So we're getting close to the end of the show. We're run out of time. Matt, do we have any comments that we've ignored? My eyes, literally, I can see stuff popping up, but I can't really read it very well.
Yeah, no problem. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, a couple. Deborah over on Facebook says thanks for always providing good information, and Dad says sorry I'm late working on a boat until about 25 minutes ago.
All right. Well,
So,
what else
thanks for
would
getting
Dad
in
be
right
doing?
at the end. Yeah, right.
What
In the
else
dark.
what else would Dad be doing other than working on a boat? Now y'all know where I come from. Anyway, thank you so much, Deborah, for watching. Really appreciate that. And we're trying our very best to bring you guys very valuable educational information that is just going to make you understand a little bit better and make that next transaction, whether it is a purchase, whether it's your first purchase, your second purchase, or, it's a refinance. We're just trying to make sure that we make it a little bit easier by bringing the education and the information to you. It's something different every week. We don't even know what we're going to talk about before we get started, but it always rolls into something good. If you guys have never heard us before and you want to go back and hear other things, like I said, we had John, an underwriter, on last week. We had a real estate agent on the week before that. We've had numerous times that we've had our credit cowboy on. Heidi and I have talked about, should you refinance? Should you pull the cash out? Is the market going to crash? We have talked about so many great things. If you guys are podcast listeners, go to the podcast. It's Mortgage Mom Radio. If you want to watch us on Facebook. Go to YouTube. All of the videos that we've done every Wednesday are on both. Go back, listen to them, watch them. I'm a visual person. I like to watch. But there's a lot of people that love their podcast, man. They turn that thing on when they get in their car and they listen to it on their way, or if they're getting ready in the morning, they've got that thing going. And So the podcast is there. It goes back, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years now. YouTube, we just started this year. But we've got a lot of episodes on there, and we've talked about a lot of valuable information. So anything that you guys need, please, check us out. If you're listening Saturday morning, you've never heard us before, you're just tuning in for the first time to YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, you guys can check out all the different episodes and all the different comments and topics that we've talked about.
All right. Erica Joy Arts jumped in from Twitch saying knowledgeable and entertaining, smiley face. And then Dad looks like he's trying to get me to start a podcast with him about boats.
And with that, we're going to say we hope you guys all have a fantastic night. And for Go Country, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back again next week. We're live at 5 on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And we will be on next Saturday at 7 on Go Country 105. Everybody stay tuned for the Brothers-in-Law, Brothers-on-Law. And we hope you guys all have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.
Have a great week. Bye.